am journal downsizing for 2026. Or at least I am when it comes to the size of my daily journal. This is a big step for me actually. I've never had a creative planner that wasn't A5, but I'm moving into a Travelers for 2026 and I'm really excited about it. Hi, I'm Erin, and I've always loved new planner season, but I really enjoy setting up my own planners in dot-grid notebooks instead of buying pre-printed ones. And this is the notebook I've chosen for 2026. This is the Moonlight Enchantments notebook from Notebook Therapy. It came as part of their Lucky Bag in 2024, and it's just been waiting for the perfect use. I finally found it. You can't get this exact notebook anymore because it was exclusive to that Lucky Bag, but they do have a really beautiful range of traveler's journals, so still worth checking out. And as always, I will have links to everything I can possibly link you to down in the description of this video. Sometimes I like to match the theme that goes in the first setup in a new journal to the cover of the journal, and sometimes I don't care so much, but this one was just too perfect. I had lots of really beautiful deep blue and gold things, so I really leaned into it. Especially with that washi tape we've just added horizontally at the top and bottom there. That's the Scriptus washi tape from the Washi Tape Shop in their navy blue colorway. And a pack of stickers I picked up when I was in Melbourne for the Melbourne Pen Show. You can see some of them in the bottom left there. They're from BGM. It's the Fortune of Courage sticker set, and they are just so beautiful. Playing cards and celestial themes and things like that. Just felt like a really good fit for this theme. Those two I definitely knew I was going to be using at some point in this setup, but there's lots of other stuff that's just out and around and on my desk that I thought might potentially work, and I really just decided to wing it through all of the decoration throughout this one, just to play with things and see where they ended up, because that's part of the fun for me, is decorating and playing with my stationery and seeing what I can create. I used to be much more methodical about the way I put my themes together, but I really am enjoying being a bit more intuitive with it lately, just putting things down when they feel like they're in the right place. I always like to start a new journal with a cover spread just because it feels like a good way to introduce a new journal, a new mindset, a new headspace. And lucky for me, this is pretty quick and easy to do in a journal this size because you don't have very much page real estate to cover. It's very easy to quickly fill a spread. While this is my first time using a traveler's size journal for my day-to-day planning, it's actually not my first time using a traveler's size journal in general. I currently have one traveler's size journal that I use for my spending log, which is going to carry me through a few more years yet. And I've also used a traveler's size for my reading journal in the past when I fully filled up a B5 earlier in the year than I expected to. And I used a traveler's size for overflow just for October through to December of 2024. These letter and number stickers are from JOURNALSAY, and they are so beautiful and spectacular and dramatic and impactful, but they're also kind of 3D. So I think if you were using a thinner page than me, this one has, I think it's 150 GSM paper, then you might find that those textured stickers interfere with your use of the following pages, kind of make a bit of a bubble that's hard to write over. I am not finding that to be the case with this one. Typically, with my journal layouts in the past, I've moved straight from my cover spread into a future log or some kind of monthly calendar tracking situation for events for the rest of the year. We're still going to have a future log in this journal, but there was something else I wanted to include first while I was still in that cover spread kind of a mindset, and this is something I've never had in my journal before, but plenty of other people have. This is going to be my vision board for 2026. Just in case you haven't come across the idea of a vision board before, it's kind of a collage of images and words and text that align with where you'd like to see yourself moving, which direction you'd like to go in the future. There are so many ways you can approach this. Obviously, you can do it within your journal pages like me. You can do it on a corkboard or on a piece of card that you then put on your fridge so you see it often. You can do it digitally even with something like Canva or Millernote or whatever you like. And where you source your images from and that kind of thing can be totally up to you as well. You might cut things out of magazines, you might find things in old books, you might go hunting on the internet. I have jumped on Pinterest and found some things that align with what I would like my 2026 to look like. It's a little on the personal side, so I don't want to kind of go into too much detail and explain the whys of my vision board, but I feel like you get the idea, right? And yes, I have deliberately sought out images for my vision board that are blue in some way, and if they weren't, I have used my photo editing powers to make them blue or bluer. I have also specifically printed them on sticker paper, sized them to the size that I thought would work well for this page, and cut them out with my Cricut. Once you nail that balance of print then cut as kiss cut stickers with whatever your cutting machine of choice is, it's really hard to go back to anything else. I also wanted a bit of a gold element here, so I'm using these letter stickers. These are also from JOURNALSAY, and my handy little sticker tweezers to put some words down on the page here too. Check out that little bit of gold reflection. It's so shiny and foily. I really like it. The vision board spread was a really nice exercise in kind of meditating on what I would like for next year. So now we're going to move on to the actual future log, the calendars where I write down things that are happening in the year. I also had a few technical difficulties while I was shooting this video, so sorry about there are a couple of little jumps in time. We're also out of focus right now, but don't worry, I will get that fixed for you in a few more seconds' time. I made some big changes to my filming space in 2025 and I love them. I love this desk. I love sitting at it. I love the vintage vibe of it. It feels like it has stories that go from beyond the time when it's been in my possession, which I love. But it did force me to completely change my filming setup and the equipment that I use to support my camera and my lighting and all of that. Unfortunately, the camera I was using is no longer viable because it's too heavy for the desk clamps that I'm now using, and I don't want to damage the desk, but I can't use my old tripod that has a boom arm on it because I can't put it sort of behind the desk anymore. The room is set up in a different way, so lucky for me, as a former wedding photographer, I had a lot of cameras at my disposal and I was using another one, a smaller one, to get by while I was shooting this one. I have since invested in a new camera during the Black Friday sale, so I will be all set for next year's videos, but this one was kind of an in-between kind of moment. I'd never used it for this kind of filming before, so it was quite tricky and I didn't know where all of the settings were, and a few things it took me actually using it to work out, so thank you for bearing with me. In the interests of efficiency, I decided to make some Dutch doors for these calendar pages so that I wouldn't have to decorate multiple spreads. I could just do the top and bottom of this one, cut the pages into smaller flaps for the individual months, and it worked out better than I could have anticipated because the two spreads I was removing paper from ended up being the two middle spreads of the signature, which meant that I could remove all of the paper. Typically when I'm removing paper from a journal, I'll leave a little sliver right next to the binding and stick that to the pages on either side with some white washi tape so that it kind of maintains some structural integrity. It actually didn't matter with this one, which was kind of great. I could just remove all of the paper because I was all the way at the binding, the middle part of that signature. Signatures are the groups of pages that they bind together to make a notebook like this, by the way, in case you haven't come across that term before. It's a good one. I've been doing a lot of my lettering with stickers and by making my own stickers with typefaces and things lately, and I kind of wanted to get back to hand lettering, so for this one I've decided to go with a dip pen actually with the Nico G nib and some ink I got from the Calligraphy Box, which is a subscription calligraphy supplies and learning resource that I've been subscribed to for quite a bit of 2025. This is their navy ink, and their inks are really fascinating to me because they are not at all like what you would find for a fountain pen kind of ink. They're really designed for, they say, dip and brush calligraphy. I haven't tried them with a brush yet. I really should after reading that on their website just now though. I was just checking the information to make sure I was telling you the right thing. The consistency reminds me more of gouache paint than it does of any of my fountain pen inks, and it is definitely a lot easier to work with as far as pointed pen calligraphy, so I really like it. It did bleed and maybe even feather a little bit on this paper, but I think it was a lot less than it would have been if I'd used like a Ferris wheel press or even like a diamine ink or something, so from what I understand, the notebook therapy journals don't hold up too well to fountain pen usage, but I'm definitely going to find out because I am in my fountain pen era. I've been really enjoying using a different fountain pen and ink every month, so this journal's just going to have to deal with it because that's what I'm going to do. I'm anticipating this notebook will get me through to June, potentially the end of June. The past 2 years I've been using two A5 journals to a year, and that was with the Tifosi A5s that actually have 192 pages as standard rather than 160, which is what you'll typically find in an A5. This journal actually only has 144 pages, so it is quite a drop, but I'm going to be moving the memory keeping spreads that I usually keep in between my monthly setups into their own journal, so I still think I'll be able to fit 6 months in here pretty comfortably. I'm about to spoil one of the sticker sheets from the STICKII Pop Advent from 2025, so look away if you don't want to see it. This one's from Milk Tea Danny, and it is just so perfect for this theme. Something about the imagery in all of the stickers I'm using across this theme, it's not super coherent, but it also still works really well together. You know, we've got teacups and books, which are a little bit in the academia kind of ballpark, but then also playing cards and ink bottles, which I feel also still fit that. And then I've got some owls and things as well that, even though they feel a bit incongruous maybe if you just list them like that, on the page I feel like they all work really nicely together. And of course, you can never go wrong with a pair of washi tapes like this, especially the gold one is gorgeous. It looks like it's been antiqued. It's old brass or something. 2 washi tapes right next to each other like that is my favorite way to really quickly decorate any kind of space. All the better if they're washi tapes like these 2 that don't really have a distinct horizontal or vertical direction to them. They could go any which way. It makes my life so easy. And that's why washi tape is my absolute favorite top stationery category. Much like the vision board spread that we did earlier, I'm introducing a new spread here that I've never included in my own journal before, but I have seen other people do. Typically, I will include a goals section, but rather than goals this time, especially since I didn't actually use the goals section in my most recent journal for the second half of 2025, I literally just never filled it in. Rather than setting myself a list of goals that are measurable by a metric, instead I'm setting myself a word that is going to be my focus for the year. And this is how I'm going to try to see if I'm staying on track and living in the way that I wanted to live in the year. Every time a decision comes up or something, I can measure it against this word and be like, am I choosing the decision that takes me towards this? Within reason, of course, but my focus word for the year of 2026 is serenity, and not in the you can't take the sky from me kind of way, although I am a massive Firefly fan. More in the sense of, am I overcomplicating things for myself? Because that's a thing that I am prone to doing. Some people might feel like a spread for something like this is a waste of page space if you like to have much more functional and practical spreads in your journal. For me, having this here is more of a reminder, and also the process of setting it up is kind of helping to cement it in my mind. And that's totally valid for me, and if I've just had a good time setting it up, then it was absolutely not a waste of time as far as I'm concerned. But I do understand if you're looking at this and being like, yeah, that's not for me, because that's fine. It wasn't for me either up until this point. This is my 8th year now of keeping this kind of journal, and it's not something I've ever included before either, so, no judgment. It is also giving me another opportunity to use these excellent letter stickers. I really thought when I first took these out of the packaging that I'd made a terrible mistake, but I'm getting more use out of them than I anticipated, which is great. Also, really appreciate that those sticker sheets have several of each letter and number so that you don't just write one word and then are no longer able to because you've used all of your vowels. They're very thoughtfully designed in that way, which I appreciate. With my 2026 focus word spread locked in, I'm going to turn the page and move on to a tracker spread. As far as tracking habits, I don't think that's something I'm going to be bringing with me into 2026, at least not at the moment. I really haven't been using the habit trackers in my previous journal, not the annual ones, not the monthly ones. I think we just need a little break on that. But I am going to keep tracking my social media stats because that is something that I do fill out at the end of every month. I've been keeping up with those ones in my current journal, and I also keep up with my financial tracking things at the end of the month, although I do those in a separate journal, so you don't often see that because obviously I like to keep my financial information private. If you do see it, it'll be kind of on an angle where you can't actually see what I'm writing in the journal. Occasionally, that one will be in the vlog. But social media is my job. This here YouTube channel where you're watching this video right now is actually the main source of income in my life through a combination of ad revenue on the channel and affiliate marketing and sponsorships. So as I'm sure you can imagine, it's important that I know what is going on with my social media platforms, hence keeping track of it. I also run social media for 2 dance groups that I'm part of, and I like keeping track of their stats too. So that's what this spread is all about. On the left page, I'll have my own social media information, and on the right page, I'll have the trackers for my dance group. These haven't really changed from the way I've set them up in the past, but it works, so I'm not going to try to fix something that isn't broken. On the first of each month, I come back here and fill out the information for the previous month. So the different columns here are for my YouTube subscriber count, YouTube views, Instagram, and TikTok follower numbers. I don't know if I really care about TikTok. I don't think it's the platform for me, but other people have a lot of success on it, and sometimes I see that and I'm like, I should be doing that. I don't know, I don't think it's for me. But I do post to it from my dance group, so it's not out of my way to still just have TikTok and keep an eye on it. So that's what I do currently. I also like to have a section for the opening balance, if you will, the opening number of things in whatever column at the start of the year. So I'll fill out the January column on the 1st of February. So it's helpful to have that baseline established from the previous year. And right at the bottom, I also like to have a section for the change. So how much it has varied since the opening balance was recorded. I have to say, having less page space in this journal than I'm used to has really made the entire setup experience so much faster. You can add a couple of small stickers and things look as put together as you'd like them to, whereas it would take a lot longer in a larger journal. So if you've been struggling with your journal size, I recommend going a little smaller next year. This next spread is just for fun. I had a bingo board in my journal for 2025, and I haven't finished everything on it, but I've done a fair chunk of the things on there. I'm pretty happy with that. This is a similar concept where it's just a list of fun things that I would like to do in the new year. It's just not formatted into a bingo board this time. I have ripped this idea directly off your friend and mine, Erin. This is going to be 26 things in 2026. So 26 things on a list that I would like to do in the year that is 2026. Some of these items I have lifted directly from last year's bingo board because they're pretty easily achievable, or things that I try to do every year. Things like go to a concert, go to a musical. But for some of them, in the week leading up to actually setting up this journal, I had a notes app file on my phone where I was just kind of adding to things as I thought of them. This wasn't an all-in-one kind of one and done idea generation session for me. It took me a while to come up with 26 things. It's a lot more things than it seems like. So if you're interested in including something like this in your own journal, I'll tell you what's on my list so that you can steal from it if you would like to. Feel free to borrow anything that takes your fancy. I'm also really trying to keep that serenity focus in mind here, so I have things like have a screen-free day, declutter my kitchen, go for a long walk, travel overseas. That one is actually already booked. I'm very excited about that. Make a comfort playlist, go on a solo date, have a week where I have a complete social media detox, no social media at all. I want to declutter my wardrobe. I've actually done that recently, but later in the year next year, it's always time for another wardrobe declutter at some point, read a book outdoors, because I did that in 2025 and I really enjoyed it. Take a day trip, join a local walking tour, add to my gallery wall in my office, go to a concert, go to a musical. Those are also already booked too. I want to bake a cake because friends who've been following along, I finally have an oven again. It's been 5 years without one. I'm so excited. Long story. I want to take a long bath. Look, that one's very easy to achieve. Write a letter to a friend, create a reading nook in my house. I want to declutter my living room, get an automatic litter box for my cats. I want to try a new restaurant, embroider a tote bag, learn to play a tune on melodeon with 2 hands. Learning to play a tune on melodeon at all was on my list for this year, and I did do it, but I can only do the melody with 1 hand, so We're aiming higher for 2026. I want to take a choreography dance class. I do a lot of folk dancing, but I've been missing choreography lately, so that's a big one. TikTok has influenced me. I want to make a money bowl, and I want to eat a hotel breakfast. That is one of my favorite things about traveling is hotel continental breakfasts. They're so good. My goal is to update this on my monthly vlog throughout 2026 to really keep you in the loop every time I complete one of those goals, but I always make these goals for myself and then don't fulfill them as far as showing the internet, because sometimes it's just nice to keep things private. So I will probably update you at some points, but I don't know that it will be like an every month thing. So stay tuned, I guess, if you want to see somewhat how that goes. We've moved on to our next spread though, and this one is the first of two. This is my content planner. As I mentioned, making videos about stationery and notebooks and sometimes reading on the internet is my job. So planning out what my videos are going to be in advance is always a good thing. Oh no, I have smudged ink on my page. We're just going to pretend I didn't do that and carry on. Typically, I post 2 videos a week, and I have had in the past a very strict schedule. I'm hoping that I can stick to that schedule again in 2026, but I'm also, with the Serenity thing, trying to be a bit kinder to myself. So, sometimes maybe a video won't go up on a Friday. Maybe it will be a Saturday or a Sunday instead of a Friday, and I think that's okay. I am very lucky that I have several videos that are somewhat of a series. I'll always have my monthly setup in my own journal, my monthly setup in the mystery journal, my reading wrap up for the previous month. Those are kind of videos that I don't have to think about what the concept is going to be for the coming month, and I can slot those in ahead of time. And as far as the other videos, this shows me how many slots I need to think of ideas for to fill. I usually have a lot of ideas. That's not typically a terrible thing, but it does help to know kind of the volume of videos that I need to ideate ahead of time. I've also given myself 3 columns here, not because I plan to make a 3rd video every week, but mostly just so I can use one of them for notes, especially with regard to if there's a sponsorship on a specific video, I can give myself some extra notes about what that entails. Or if I am doing something like I have been trying to do and somewhat failing at throughout the last 3 months of this year, which is my own version of Vlogmas, where I was planning to post a vlog every week rather than just one a month. I managed it a little bit, but then I got sick, unfortunately. Just a cold, like nothing too drastic, but it did throw me off for a little while. I also had some other life stuff going on, so it wasn't super possible, and I've kind of really dropped the ball in December especially, but just in case, I've got space in case I'm like, do you know what? Suddenly I'm thriving and I can make an extra video a week. Like, I can grow into that here, if that were the case. It's unlikely, but just in case. This spread only has January to March on it though, so let's turn the page and do all of that again. We're going to go pretty quickly because it's the same as the previous spread, but this is round 2 for the 2nd quarter of the year. We've only got one more spread to set up together, and then we're going to go back through everything and add a few extra little finishing touches. But for now, I wanted to add in here a little highlight spread. I'm really trying to focus on the positive. I'm not sure if a daily gratitude log is the go for me. I've actually been thinking about getting one of the Midori 5-year journals or the Hobonichi 5-year journals and using that as a separate kind of gratitude, maybe highlights thing. But this is kind of more of an overarching, these were the things that were great in each month, and here are like 5 things, I asked my partner Chris the other day what his highlights of 2025 were, and we both had to kind of stop and think about it, and I was like, we haven't been paying enough attention to the good things, clearly, if it's so difficult for us to come up with our highlights. We did, in the end. We had lots of things that we loved in 2025. But I feel like keeping a spread like this, if I stay on top of it, is going to help me to really focus on those good things. And at the end of 2026, if somebody asked me what my highlights of the year were, I wouldn't want to have to think about it as hard as I did. So this spread is designed to be the remedy to that. I also still fully intend on doing some memory keeping separately in a square Tifosi journal that I'm going to be using specifically for that purpose. I think that will be so much fun and very low pressure, especially not having it in this journal, because this journal gets seen by the internet quite a bit, whereas my own personal memory keeping, I can maybe keep it a little bit more private than this journal, I think, and that would be nice. Something just for me. I will still share it, but maybe not as heavily as my planning journals. I also wanted to use this opportunity to bring back some of these letter stickers because I've only used them on the vision board spread so far, and I wanted to make sure they were represented somewhere else because they're actually really cute. These are from JOURNALSAY as well. We're almost finished with the setup, but there were a couple of things I'd got out that I didn't end up using in the theme anywhere that felt like too perfect a fit for me to have not used them. Most especially this tape. This one I got from JOURNALSAY a while ago. I used it a little bit in the first mystery journal for the first half of 2025, but the color scheme was just too good here, and especially the tiny little clouds. This is Mitsu, my sweet kitty, coming to make sure everything is good. He nearly kicked over my ink. I had to put the lid on it, and I probably should have had the lid back on it by then anyway. We're just going to flip through all of the pages we've already set up and find some spaces to put little clouds and little planets and give this tape one more moment to shine because it was too perfect for the theme to not use. And here she is, my 2026 journal, all set up and ready to go for the very beginning of a new year. Thank you so much for spending this time with me and planning along with me if you've got your own journal out too. I love that this theme has come together a little bit magical, a little bit mysterious, but also, I don't know, it feels kind of achievable. I had a great time setting it up and I'm already loving the traveler's size. I know I'm going to get along with it so well for the first half of this year. I hope. Anyway, I've said things and been wrong before. Let's talk all things new journal setup down in the comments. What size journal are you using? Have you set it up yet? Have you picked your theme? Do you have specific spreads you're including? Any that I haven't? Are you going to take any of these and add them to yours? I want to know all about it. I am posting this quite a bit later than I typically do in the year for my new journal setup, so I hope you can still take something away from it. If you've already done your journal, thank you for watching anyway. New journals always feel like so much potential to me, so I'm very excited to see what all of these blank pages end up bearing later on in the year. And if a traveler size isn't the right fit for you or you're looking for some alternative theme inspiration, I have many years of them on my channel. So in case you'd like to keep watching, here are two of them. This one is also for 2026, this one's in the mystery journal, and underneath that is a link to my new journal setup for the start of 2025.